So first, of course, I want to introduce the team. My name is Ivana Todorović, and I'm head of Belgrade Engineering for BlackRock. With me today, we're going to have Borko Zivanović, one of our oldest, not by years, but by experience in BlackRock engineers. He's our software architect and team lead in one of the platform teams. Also, we are going to have Nenad Stanojev. He's also a senior engineer in one of our teams that's working on a new product that we're building. With us is also Nenad Prodanović, our delivery manager, and Dušan Mišić, also senior engineer in one of the platform teams and a team lead. Well, you see, a lot of people. So that's how we do things in BlackRock. And the thing that I didn't mention initially is I'm a newbie in BlackRock. So I've been here for like 6 months, just a bit of over 6 months. And for me, this was an interesting thing because I never worked in a big corporation, and BlackRock is big. We have like 18,000 people all across the globe, and that was a completely new thing for myself. And for me, it was an interesting journey into the unknown. Initially, I never thought about working in a big corporation because, of course, as most of us, I have my biases and some assumptions. And usually, when I thought about joining that big of a corporation, I was thinking about, okay, they've been here for like a couple of decades, very big corporation. I would assume that like innovation, that's not really happening. I assumed that, all development was done in some kind of waterfall-like methodology, that people are working in silos, that if you have that many people, you must end up with a lot of subspecialization and teams for every single thing that are just throwing things over the fence to somebody else. And I was like, okay, no. And when I think about something that's been here for like decades, I was thinking about, okay, that's most likely 1 to multiple legacy platforms. Engineers usually not very satisfied with dealing with those kind of things. And usually it would be like, okay, just a little bit of improvement here and there. Well, that's what I thought. And, well, I'm an engineer. So, and I'm pretty agile. And if any one of you asks, like, okay, why did you join a corporation? Well, I heard a lot of good things while I was interviewing with people, and I was like, okay, this is going to be a leap of faith. I have 6 months probation period. I can, walk away, but I'm still here. That probation period is over, and I'm not planning to go anywhere. So when I joined BlackRock, I started first thinking about, okay, I need to understand the processes. I need to understand the technology. I need to understand how everything is working. And being a tech person, first of all, I wanted to know what is the technology behind it and what are the plans. And then I realized that there is a really, really great plan and vision for 2025. And okay, you have a vision, you have a document, you can write anything on the document, but what really matters is what's really happening, like what's there. And then I saw really aggressive technical roadmaps, and I saw the execution on that. And it's not only that the vision is good, it's really aligned with main tech trends. It's such that it's really good, scalable, everything looks really great. Also, delivery on it looks really fine. And on top of this, I saw some innovation and things that are going to end up being patented by BlackRock, which is really a cool stuff, from the technical side, not from the business side. So I was really impressed with the technology. And then I started looking at the teams and who is working on what. And I definitely realized that, yes, there is subspecialization. So we have a lot of different teams. We have specialized teams for mainly every single piece of infrastructure that we're using. But I also saw a lot of connectivity between people, basically hyper-connectivity. Like everybody's talking to almost everyone. And if you think about a company with 18,000 employees, that's huge. Also, I was thinking about the processes and how everything works, and I saw people working mostly in Scrum, also Kanban for DevOps kind of work. But everybody says that they're doing Scrum, and sometimes it ends up being just like waterfall thing wrapped up in, I don't know, 2 or 3 week sprints. But here, the thing that I saw is, okay, there is Scrum teams are working as Scrum teams, but there is also really, really good involvement with customers and really early feedback. So it's not only about, providing the demos and collecting feedback on demos from customers, but it's also about, and we are delivering pretty often, so it's not like once in a quarter. We're delivering all the time. The most important thing that I saw here is involving customers really early on. So usually we do early adopter partnership with some customers. So we start talking to them when we start thinking about the idea. Then we present them swim lanes. We collect feedback. Then we go to creating mockups, collecting feedback on mockups, and then it goes to development. And then we're doing the demos during the sprints, not only when it gets live to production. So I was pretty impressed on how everything works in a big corporation. So the interesting thing here is it seems like it wasn't like that all the time. So that's not like, it wasn't done like that in BlackRock through history. So now I'm going to hand it over to Borko to tell us a bit about the history and how we got there.
Thank you, and thank you all. It's really a pleasure being here, and from the introduction, yeah, I'm one of the seasoned engineers here in Belgrade. So I have the honor to present this. So I started in 2010, early stages. When I joined the analytics, it was just between 10 or 15 people. So we didn't have processes. It was direct line with CEO, and we had only one person, kind of like product manager now. So it was maybe with these standards like Kanban. We just get the priorities, do things. We start growing, and in 2013, eFront acquired analytics. We were competitors, so transition didn't went smoothly. So we had a similar products doing the same thing for the same market. So we needed to establish some processes and work together. So we had a few iterations of Agile. So we started adopting Scrum. It wasn't that good at the beginning, so we became better. In 2019, BlackRock bought eFront, and the good thing was we were complementary. So they were for the public market, we covered the private one. That again, moving from the technical company to the big corporation, mostly oriented by the business. So we needed to adjust and, of course, adopt new processes. But in the engineering, the good thing is we had a similar culture. And in eFront, I can say our processes were more suited for a technical company. So it was really good. We just didn't adapt everything. We start doing some transformation and trying to figure out what's for us, what will do better. So with this, we start working together. So since I'm a really technical person, I will talk about transforming our technology, our platform. And to start, let's talk about history first. So what we are seeing here, it's classic monolith application with some database as a storage and doing some deployments on on-premise servers. So I would like to hear from the audience, like in your organizations, how many of you have something like this in some shape and form? Okay, so it's good. So it's not the history, and also it's not a history for us. So we also have something like this. So what we want to achieve? To do something more like this. For the UI, to have the micro front end. Basically, really small front ends. And underneath the microservice architecture with different storages, different kind of communication, and event-driven as well. Also, where we want to host our solutions. And it's not a brainer. Now, we have the cloud providers, and we want to leverage that. So how to come from here to here? Well, for us, it's more like, I would say, like 4 buckets that we want to check. And of course, first is the architecture. So we need to adjust the architecture to our needs. Second one, infrastructure. So saying, going from premise to cloud providers. You know, they are doing this job for a while, really good, so let's leverage that. We need to put some tooling as well. So we can't just have this, but we also need to think about early stages, how we want to improve our performance, experience for the developers, and also how we want to deliver. And one of the most important things these days is security. So not just for the financial company, but for everyone. Because these days, you know, everything is about the security. So how we want to do this? For us, it's always starting from the purpose. So the purpose of the BlackRock is to help more and more people experience financial well-being. What that means and how we can translate that to technology. Is it simple or not? So yeah, BlackRock is the business company. But they are also using the products that we are building. So they are our client, and we are also selling the software to other clients. So we need to think about them, the clients first. So they need to be able to build things and do their work more efficiently. So that's actually how we are translating that to the technology. So building the software that will help them doing things more efficiently. What it means? We need to prioritize, of course, like we have some monolith applications, but since the clients are first, we need to think about how we can bring the value faster. After that, okay, we are not the smartest one. So we are very, very good in the business, but again, you have much better technology companies. So let's partner with them and see what are the best practices and use it. And communicate. Internally, externally, always communicate. And at the end, when you think about all this, come back to the purpose. Is it all fitting your purpose? So again, you saw this. Multiple applications, multiple products, multi-tenant, single-tenant, deploying. Some of them are deployed on cloud, some of them on-premise. Again, in some cases, we have some communication between them, but not all the time. So what we want to achieve here? First thing, think about the user experience. We want to have something that looks like the same for everyone. Even if we have different products and the clients are using different products, let's have a look and feel that is the same experience for them, the same. It's a quick win. Of course, doing all of this, we also need to improve our tooling to be more efficient, and security. Security at the beginning, security at the end. Think about the infrastructure, but also about our product. And always have in mind this. So partner with others, communicate and collaborate. And on the back of your mind, always think about the purpose. So this is something that we are doing right now. So we can't just remove our monoliths and, okay, let's let the site doing something else. We still have clients. This is our purpose. So let's connect them first together. So that's why we have the platform to make the communication between them more easily. But also, we have these applications. Some of them are doing similar things on a different way. So let's not do that anymore. Let's do it once and reuse it. So that's why, when we have the chance, building some new things, start thinking about modules. Not the products, but small pieces that will do some work, and again, connect them to the platform. Also, okay, we have on-premise servers. Some stuff we are deploying for clients, some is on our data centers, and we have different cloud providers. We need to connect them together and create currently the hybrid cloud, because that's the reality right now. Of course, doing this, improving our tooling. So we need to put all the tools earlier, be efficient in all what you're doing, and also applying the security. So again, some technical tools that will help us secure everything. And again, keep in mind, we always need to think about purpose. If we do all of this, our plan is to have this reality, like we really want to be there. So with adapting all these strategies, we believe at some point we'll transform to all this. Okay, so it was everything from the technical standpoint. Now we want to see how that will be incorporated in our teams as well. Thank you.
Hello. Well, I will take you. Sorry. I will take you back in time when Bridgepoint was owning our company, and before the BlackRock acquisition. We got into the situation where the Spotify model was applied to our organization, and that was pretty much in alignment with the monolithic structure of our applications. So you had squads that had everything that was needed for them, that were cross-functional, that were set for success, working on a single application there. The team I was working at had three squads. I was leading one of them. I was having full-stack developers. I was having the QAs, I was having CI/CD engineer, and I was having also product owner, and we were able to deliver everything that's needed and to negotiate on regular meetings with our clients, which was a big fund from United States. And it was good. But what happened? The squad worked on the code that was diverging from the develop branch for 2 years. And it turned out it became a silo within a silo. All the teams in our company used to be very silos. You can see the Great Wall of China that was separating us. And I froze. And then BlackRock came. The interconnectivity Borko spoke about, the platform Borko spoke about, got us into the situation where developers from the big silos were taken out, but still remained there and started working on the connectivity platform. The words like microservice, words like Kubernetes, words like cluster, and so on could be heard more often and often. And you could see that our organization is growing. Also the silos that existed there, the big silo that was around Java team and around .NET team, and we do not speak a lot among each other because it's Java and .NET, we natural enemies, of course. And well, simply those people from two technology stacks had to work together. And no longer it was communication over the tickets, communication over architects, communication over the product owners. We got into the situation where developers were talking directly to each other, breaking the silos, starting to get to know each other much better, starting to simply become one big team, one big BlackRock, as someone would say. So you have probably heard of this. It has been a hot topic lately with microservices, and it says any organization that designs a system will produce a design whose structure is a copy of the organization's communication structure. What happened to us? The squad I was leading had 14 people in it. It was huge. It had 14 people at one point. The teams that are working on the interconnectivity platform are small as the microservices they're writing. So we have a team of 2 people, team of 4 people. The targeted number of people is in the BlackRock quiz, so I won't tell it. And all of this brought us to 3 very important consequences in our organization. We have smaller teams. The teams have a direct communication between each other. And Borko spoke a lot about the service usability. And let me just do a small poll because I'm really interested in it. How many of you have implemented email sending service in a monolith? Please raise a hand. Okay, how many did it twice in their career? Okay, at least 2 persons. Okay, thank you. I'd like to announce Nenad Prodanović, who was my former manager, and now he works as a delivery manager in BlackRock.
Thank you, Nenad. So, before I continue, I would like to speak a bit about a completely different topic, and this is traveling and the different situations you can have while you're actually performing the same action. So, if you're like me, if we are talking about commute, which you're doing every day, so you would prefer to have efficient, comfortable, predictable, easy. You want to be sure that you will be in your workplace at 9 o'clock. And you want it to make it as painless as possible. I suppose you agree with me. Okay, but in completely different contexts, like when I go to some exotic travel, I want to see things. I want to learn more. I want to experience different culture. I want to experience different ways of transportations. So from that perspective, I want it to be exploratory. It has to be exploratory, otherwise I'm sitting at a hotel. And it has to be fun. So I'm the same person, but in 2 different contexts, I want to travel in one way or the other. So I could argue that similar concepts can be applied to our daily jobs. So we have tasks which are repetitive, which we want just to get over with, which typically have some low-risk tolerance, so therefore there is no space for dangerous actions. You cannot have fun. But on the other hand, you have tasks which are exploratory. You need to learn something to execute something else. You need to employ creativity. You know where you want to be, but you don't know how to get there. On the other hand, the same kind of principles can at the end can turn into something else. First class can become inefficient if it's applied in a different context. It can be inflexible, it can be tiresome. It's not fun always to write reports. And you can, in a change of context, or if inefficient applied processes, you're actually wasting time. On the other hand, second type of the issues, you can lose yourself. You don't know the road, so you may lose yourself in that road. So, I'm a huge fan. Those of you who know me probably know that I'm a huge fan of Agile, of Scrum, and I have been Scrum Master for a while. So I want to go back to the basics. And this is what Agile Manifesto is saying to us. That individuals' interactions are more important than processes and tools. And of course, additional sentence at the end of it, that there is value on both left and right here. So there is value in individuals and interactions, and there is value in processes and tools. Just that we want to apply the first ones more. So the question maybe, why is that? Why do we want why are individuals and interactions more important for us than processes and tools? And the answer is because we are in software development industry. And therefore, we most often do not know the path to our destination. So this is why it's so important. But it's also important to think about why was that created so? And the reason is the context. The reason is this different if you are building a road which is built in the same way over and over and over and over for kilometers and kilometers, and if you are building a software which you don't know how to get to at the beginning. At the end you know, and you are smart, but it's too late. Oh, sorry, those colors are not well fitted, but so I want to talk a bit about practice and thinking about what is the context in which we are applying. As a huge fan of Scrum and Agile, whenever you're a fan of something, you want to apply the same thing to everything. If you have hammer, everything looks like a nail to you. So I was engaged with release management. Release management is typically not fun activity. It is not something that people are enjoying it, and it is most often you don't have the whole team which has been working for a while. And you know, the basics of a Scrum is the team. The team that is working well for some time, that has been working well for some time, and that is motivated to do the tasks. So in my practice, I faced problems when I was trying to apply this concept on release management. And I had to understand what is my problem, and I had to think about what is wrong, of course, and to actually go more on the right side here. On the left side, I have individuals and interactions. On the right side, I have processes and tools. So I had to go a bit more on the right side. So you have to think always about the concept. You have to think about what is going on right now, what you are doing, what is the environment, and then to apply left or right. And one thing which is helping me a lot, which has been helping me a lot, is delegation levels. You can also always think about delegation levels. I'm talking about delegation levels from Management 3.0. So those are some, I hope, practical advice. And I'll leave you to my colleague Dušan, who will talk a bit more stories from practice. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Just to figure out the buttons, that is important. Well, like I said, hello. Let me tell you a true story. In order to support end-to-end workflows for our clients, we needed to build a common platform that will support event and RPC-based communication. And the goal is to basically connect all our existing products and plus connect the new ones that will be built eventually. So how do we started doing that? Well, we basically opened communication channels. And when I say open, I mean all of them. So that is Teams, email, WebEx, Jabber, all of them. And everybody needed to talk with everyone. So product management from one product needed to talk to the product manager of another product, and so on. Engineers need to talk to one another. It was very important to clearly communicate what is needed for this platform to support. And the communication was the key. And communication was encouraged from the start on all levels. To give you a little context, just a little, If you remember Borko's house slide and Nenad Stanojev's interconnectivity slide, that was the platform I'm talking about. And to even give you more context and some, let's say, newer information, we are currently developing a new and cool product that we intend to connect to this platform. Some of the people who are in the development on this platform are here in the audience and are speakers as well. On this new product, there is Ivana and there is Nenad Stanojev, and on the platform is Borko and me. So how did we do it? Basically, we forced our product management teams to talk to one another. Then we forced our product owners to talk to one another, and basically when they all agreed on what needs to be done, then the product owners created the stories that needs to be executed by the development teams, QA teams, plus other support teams that needs to be mentioned here as well. That is DevOps, NetOps, and all support teams that are all in this together in delivering this product to our clients. That is the common goal, delivering product to our clients. So all of these teams are working together to connect this new product, to bring it to production on one important date. And we have this, we have a words for that, that is called synchronized swimming, where we are all swimming in the same direction. What is important in this is that communication is the key. Communication is the key. If we need any information or anyone that need, for example, for something to be done for us, we are just one Teams chat or WebEx call or basically one step away. We are all on the same level. Basically, horizontal lateral communication, like I said in the beginning, is encouraged on all levels. And this platform and this new product is basically a global team effort. So there are distributed teams around the world developing the same. And let's say communicating with them a lot. We, let's say, have developed a sense of camaraderie and unity. And we have for a word for that as well. It is called one BLK or one BlackRock. So we are all in this together and in developing the products that will deliver value for our clients. Thank you. And I will return the stage to my colleague Ivana.
Thank you all. So you heard a lot of bits and pieces, a lot of different things from us. The fact here is there is no one-size-fits-all solution. We have different teams. We have different problems to solve. We are doing Scrum. We are doing Kanban. We are there to try to make it efficient, to make ourselves efficient in order to create a value for the customers and for ourselves. The thing with this is also we need a lot of tools in order to be able to be efficient. And in different teams, the level of tooling and processes is really different. And I'm not going to advertise a lot about Management 3.0. I know that there were some sessions about this. But if some of you went to that course or read something about it, if you're thinking about complex adaptive systems, well, that's BlackRock. Like, it's even more complex than on usual pictures. And you heard about things that we are doing. And Dušan mentioned just one project, which is currently a small project for BlackRock. The thing with this is we have a lot of people involved. We had 4 PMs on the project. So we started with 4 developers, but that grew. And the thing with this is we definitely need to be agile. And not agile just in terms of doing Scrum. We need to be agile in essence. We need to start thinking about solving our problems and reaching out to other people to make sure that we understand what we need to solve, why we need to solve it. Because if we make a mistake, it's going to cost us a lot. It's not just like, having one developer doing something for 2 weeks and then throwing it away. It's going to be multiple teams doing a lot of things in a wrong way if we do not ask the right questions. And if we would try to do any kind of waterfall-like development with more than 2,000 engineers that we have, in Belgrade it's like 150, but globally it's a couple of thousand engineers, it would most likely take us a year to create a year-long plan. So that's not happening. The thing that's really happening is, yes, we do have yearly plannings, but what do we do on yearly plannings? Well, we define key things that we want to focus. We define our strategy. We define what are the most important things and what's going to be the priority amongst those things for BlackRock for the next year. And that's mostly it. Those things are just a couple of topics. They tend not to change. Well, now the market is crazy, everything is crazy. We're entering the new economic crisis, so it really depends. That might change. But the fact is that's a starting point. Then we are doing the quarterly planning sessions. With quarterly planning sessions, we are doing high-level estimations, which is one piece of it. The most important piece of it is understanding our dependencies. Like, okay, do we need to do something on the platform side? Do we need to do something on the infrastructure side? Is this something new that's going to require a lot of different teams to collaborate? What are going to be those teams? Because I don't know how many squads do we have in Belgrade. I'm asking you guys, does anybody know? I'm not sure how many squads do we have in BlackRock. So it's a lot of Scrum teams. We need to identify which teams need to collaborate closely within next quarter. And that's just the beginning. Then it starts with collaboration, communication between those teams, pinging people all the time, and doing Scrum and doing Kanban for some other teams. And that's where everybody needs to, raise their hand, pull somebody else to ask a question, to see how some things work. And yes, I told you at the beginning, we have a lot of subspecialization, but we are learning a lot because we have experts in given domain, and they know about the top-level priorities that were set at the beginning of the year. And that's how we align. And every quarter, it's different mix and match of teams that are collaborating between each other. And also, you heard the story about where we want to go and where we currently are with architecture. And here, the important thing is that the architecture is really emerging. So we have a strategy. We have a vision for 2025. We do not have everything written down in stone. We know how we want our modules to communicate. We don't know how the architecture is really going to look like and what pieces of technology we're going to use, and we don't know the details. When we start doing something, platform teams are creating a skeleton of a module for the platform. And then we are, based on our priorities, overall priorities, we are adding features to support the delivery, to support new products that we are building, and to support improvements on the existing products. And with the monoliths, we are not just saying, okay, this monolith should be broken down into, 100 microservices. No, we are basically tackling it from the standpoint, this is something that we need to do right now. And we know that for this year, it should end up being used by multiple other things that we need to adjust, improve, whatever. Then we wrap it in a service. So that's how we do it. It's step by step, it's emerging architecture, it's evolving through time, and our processes are evolving through time. So this is a big journey. We are heading there. We are, with not only one foot, but we started a lot of good things. We have a lot of things built on the platform, and I'm really excited about continuing this journey with the rest of the guys, and want to thank them for the presentation, and thank you for bearing with us, because we are engineers. We didn't, practice public speech and stuff like that at school. So now I would like to see, what are the questions that we have, and to try to address them. Okay, so it says, to be agile, do we need to have agile customers, clients? If so, what could be best approach to engage customers and work on agility together? Well, I'm not sure what would be the definition of an agile customer. I mean, how do you define that? Not sure. But in order to engage them, I mean, the thing that I saw here on the product that we are currently building is that if you start talking about the vision with the customer, if you start doing it when you're building something, if you start explaining that we're going to be partners in building a solution, not just like, we are going to do one-size-fits-all thing that's going to be completely customizable. We are going to build it in 10 years. We're going to give it to you, and you're going to pay a lot. But then you start basically talking to customers and say, OK, we are involving, as, for example, at BlackRock, we call it early adopter program. So you say, OK, we're going to partner up. Of course, sales is going to give some discounts and whatsoever. But then you start talking through the idea with the customers and engage them in such a way that they feel that they're building something with you, something for themselves, something to solve their problem. It's not about, just having a good software that you're going to launch to the market and, somebody to be hooked on a good sales pitch. You basically start doing that before you build the software. Before you build anything, you start partnering with customers to build it if you're thinking about some SaaS-like platforms. So that would be my advice. And of course, constant communication with them, showing them everything from even before mockups, like swim lanes, like ideas, like whatever we want to do, getting their feedback, showing them that you're really incorporating their feedback even before development into the mockups, and then doing the demos and stuff like that. I think that's really valuable.
If I may add, there is one additional important advantage we have, and that is we are our own customer, first customer.
And BlackRock, that's true. BlackRock
is financial institution, and BlackRock is using software developed by parts of BlackRock, which we are working in. It's kind of easier when you're in that situation.
Okay. Are we thinking about hiring more Scrum Masters? Well, we are thinking about hiring more people in general. So you can. I think that you have careers at BlackRock here, so you can check the open positions right now and whatever is to come. But we are, in general, hiring people. And yes, we need Scrum Masters along with engineers to work together. Also, product owners and QAs, DevOps. Okay, from your experience, to be agile, do we need to have agile? Well, this is the one that we already resolved. Okay. Do you want a mic? Okay. You never break it. You never completely break it. I mean, I'm not sure how much time it's gonna take at BlackRock. From my experience, I saw couple of attempts to break the monolith fully, and they failed. Like, okay, when people, but they failed because people were like, okay, we are not going to really break it and do the strangulation or whatever, but they started building microservices instead of monolith, and that didn't work. When breaking the monolith, you usually think about, those kind of things where you really want to reuse, and you really need to think about the cost of communication between the services, because it really depends how deep you go, et cetera. And then always you end up with some piece that's monolith-like, because it's going to cost you too much to break it down, and, I never seen, I don't know about the story where everything was really broken down into microservices. I never heard about it. Well, maybe that's on me for not reading too much, but yeah. More questions? Can I scroll through this, or this is just like automatic? Okay. Feel free to ask people. Oh, biggest challenge in our agile transformation so far. I'm not sure about the agile transformation. If any one of you can reply to that, I can maybe talk about challenges related to cloud onboarding and microservices. But can we do? Yeah.
I can maybe add something. It's always challenge in agile transformation to change the mindset of people, and you have to change the mindset of many people in a big organizations. So this is most important thing. This is what you have to do constantly. This is what you have to think about, how to approach some person, whichever person you're talking with, and it's a constant work.
Yeah, I would agree definitely. I mean, I wasn't there when you started the agile transformation. That's why I think that I'm maybe not the best person to respond to this question. But the fact is, and it's not only about implementing Scrum and having the understanding from business side that you are not going to have the full year plan written down in stone and everything. It's more than this. I talked about how we are doing planning and how we are shifting the priorities. And yes, priorities change. And also, it's really important to have us all grow with the system and with the agility. So first of all, okay, we learned how to be agile. We learned how to do Scrum. We learned how to do Kanban. But then on top of this is going like one or two or couple levels above this and understand how to incorporate everything, all the teams that are working in Scrum or Kanban mode, how to do the prioritization between the items that end up on their plates, how to tackle dependencies, how to tackle these kind of things. And of course, with this, we have resource constraints. I mean, we are hiring. It takes a lot of time to hire somebody. We have limited resources at the moment. Well, maybe that doesn't sound like limited when I told you that we have a couple of thousand of engineers, but yeah, they're working on a lot of different things. And then you need to start basically thinking agile, not just doing agile. That's the biggest shift, to understand, to have everybody understand that it's about providing value to your customers. It's not only about Scrum. It's not only about being good in your Scrum metrics. It's about how everything fits together, because there are a lot of teams working together. And I think that's the biggest shift. I think we still aren't there in the sense of like we're perfectly doing it and everybody is completely comfortable with it. But that's something that's like the biggest shift, to understand that, yes, okay, if you have processes, then you need to, start thinking a bit broader with this. So that's from my side on that. Anyone else? Yeah?
From your experience, what's the biggest difference in working in a huge company, in a huge corporation, and in a, say, small company, a startup or something?
Well, I'm going to tell you my feeling.
Other than the number of people.
Yeah, the number of people is definitely different. Well, my previous company was a startup, and it was 30-ish of us, including CS and sales and everything. And there it was like, okay, today we decide to do something, tomorrow it's live on production. That's not happening. But also what's not happening is my phone is not ringing multiple times a day for production issues and for issues related to customers when I need to say, okay, we're going to fix this in 10 minutes, blah, 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 blah. The thing is, in a small company, you're limited to, of course, you're going to do some things faster. And if you transfer from a small company, especially as a developer, I'm not a developer anymore, so now I'm just helping them. Developers get initially kind of frustrated because they cannot push the code to production in one button click. On the other hand, you have a lot of different teams, and you really have experts in different areas. So you do not end up with a lot of issues that you're facing on your own with your best friend Google helping you or not helping you, depends on the situation. But you can ask, and you can ask somebody not just to tell you, but to help you and to do something. And from these interactions, you're learning a lot more. I mean, it's always better to learn from experience than, it's a learning curve is better than you just go to Google or do some trainings. So that's a big difference. And of course, processes are different. And they need to be because of the size of the company. How does and when does a big corporation like BlackRock decides on a tech stack and possible involvement of few new technologies, innovations that have large surface area? Interesting question. Borko?
Okay, I can answer that. So for the BlackRock and probably all the corporations, security and stability is the most important. So what we do the researches. So we have in our teams, we also have the dedicated teams that are doing the extensive research. So when we needed to move to the cloud provider, I think it took us almost half a year to decide which one. So we checked all of them, took pros and cons, and then decided. So for sure, it's not easy. So it's not fast. So we are spending a lot of time, a lot of resources to do the research before we are deciding what step to take. And of course, in some cases as well, like it's try and fail. So it's not like always we choose the right path. Okay, we learn from the mistakes and we are trying again. So this is something that again, everywhere we are doing, but here, it's just because of the size, we are doing that more thoroughly.
Yeah, and the fact is, I mean, we are not considering one-size-fits-all solution also for tech. So we are basically picking the tech for different parts of the platform. So it's not completely uniformed and unified. We even have different cloud providers. We're doing .NET, Java, we have Python, we have different things. So.
Yeah, if I can add, and I think it will be pretty obvious, because we are a big company, it is also about risk. Because we are big, risks can be big. So we need to communicate a lot, decide, research thoroughly, and then, again, if all stars are aligned, then we will pick a solution that will provide us and the clients the best value and the least amount of risk. So that is mainly the reasons why all decisions are being decided slower. So yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Do we have fixed development teams? Oh yeah, that's an interesting question. Teams are initially fixed, so we have Scrum teams. That doesn't mean that people do not, from time to time, switch the teams. But we are not, like we have 1,000 people on a bench and then we just pick the one that we need. We're trying to basically make sure that, it's a lot about collaboration, but it's also a lot about people and making sure that people are managed properly, not in terms of managing what they do, but talking to them about their aspirations and how they want to grow, how they want to progress in their career. And for that, you need some kind of stability in the team and a team lead that's going to be responsible for, driving that with people. So yes, we have teams, and what we are doing basically is when we see that somebody is, I don't know, reaching the saturation point and wants to do something new, we are trying to do internal mobility to enable that person to go to a different team. But that's happening in, I assume, most of the companies with fixed team structure. Also, as I previously told you, we are shifting priorities during the quarter, and sometimes it ends up that we do not have enough resources to hit our goals. And you're going to try hiring. It sometimes works, sometimes doesn't work. What we are doing in that context, we are trying to not just start picking people from other teams, taking them and switching, telling them, okay, now yesterday you worked on product X, now you're working on product Epsilon, and that's it. Sometimes it happens, for example, front-end work in an agile environment, you cannot kind of outsource, so you need to bring the person into the team. But when it gets to like more back-end like things, service-like things, we are in that situation we are trying to look at which teams are doing something similar or have this maybe on the roadmap in a plan for a year from now, so just switching priorities. We're trying to basically enable the teams to learn a bit more, to go just a bit beyond what they're doing right now, and to have the complete module or service or something outsourced to a different team. So it's just about shifting priorities more than pulling people out from the teams and pushing them into a new project. More questions from the audience? Lunchtime. Okay. Sorry. Thank you everyone for listening to our presentation. And well, we are going to be in our booth, so feel free to join us and ask if you have any more questions. Thanks.